formerly known as Truth and Integrity Warrior, and now I'm officially Spiritual Boxer. That's how you'll find me on YouTube, as Spiritual Boxer, right? Keep my boxing in line, keeps me at least training my boxing 2 days a week, and it keeps me in the gym and keeps me focused, right? If I lose my boxing connection, I feel I lose a little piece of myself. Got to keep those skills up and constantly working, right? My coach said, because you never know, Michelle. You never know. You know, they might have a seniors bout, bout for seniors, and I could just be ready and jump in. All right, so today is April 30th, last day of April 2025. And as you all know, I'm calling some people out that are on YouTube, they're influencers, right? And I added one. I added one that they just popped up recently, and they're all doing the same thing, and that's using Yeshua's way to bait and switch people so that they can influence through Yeshua's way, their way, on top of Yeshua. And so they can't get anybody if they just do what it is they think is correct, right? When I say they think it's correct, it's because if they believed in what they were doing, they wouldn't need Yeshua to bait people in. That's what this video is going to be about. I'm calling out some names, and it matters. So hopefully these people who are hearing it that are on these channels can make the adjustment. I'm not calling out so that people can be upset at me, right? I'm not trying to create conflict. I'm trying to make sure we as a species of mankind get on the same page so we can organize ourselves and work against what is working against us, our species. This is a species against species situation, and we ain't looking at it like that. We all got our own ideas, but we're missing the big picture. And that big picture is we're being broken down as a species because of our hates and our fears. Once we remove those hates and the fear in the heart, we can't be played or fooled or convinced so that a bait and switch happens. Look what happened just right now, just politically. People believed in an authority figure, which was Trump, because we need authority. We do. That's how we function as a society. So we have to pick the best of the two, but the two are two wings of the same beast that's working against our species. And that's my point right here. So we have to organize ourselves so that we can't be played against ourselves and start organizing like a team. Mankind don't work like a team. There was a Navy SEAL I met recently. I didn't meet him, but we're talking online. And I watched one of his videos, and he had this statement that he said, and it was pretty profound. It was profound, simple yet profound. And I recognize that's what we need, right? It is abandon self, embrace team. We need to abandon what our self ideas are and start working as a group collectively so that we can take care of ourselves, take care of our families, which are our children, our husbands, our wives, so that we can take care of our unit. So as a whole, we can start working together instead of eating each other up alive because we're being played on our hates and our fears and our needs. So, for those of you who've never been on my channel before, it's important that I state this at the beginning of every show, or you won't know where I'm coming from. My name is Michelle Angelique, and I've been saying for years now that we are in a machine. We are in a machine, and this machine works in a specific way that once we recognize the system of operation, then we can start working together as a unit and work against this machine working against us. So this machine mind that we're in, because it's very intelligent, we see it in AI all the time. People talk to that chat GPT, you can see the intelligence. But it doesn't make it fake, is my point. It doesn't make it fake. So because we're in a machine, this machine mind works on laws. And this is why we're not getting ahead of this game, because we're not looking at the laws that we are breaking amongst ourselves and that is playing against us. That's a video for another time. I just realized that I'm going off topic because it's a big topic with a lot of branches to this tree, and I don't want to divert myself. Let me go back to the point of the bait and switch that people use Yeshua's way to then overimpose their way, and then they pull people, and then Yeshua's way falls to the side, and then their way begins this new way of pattern of behavior, and we get lost in the sauce, right? Lost in the mix. So these people that I'm calling out is Abke. He has a channel and he proposes the way. Now Yeshua has the way, and he proposes Yeshua's way. Now, I'm not saying Abke is lying about Yeshua's way. I'm saying he's using Yeshua's way to bring on what is called the law of one. Now, that's a problem. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to take off. 1 second. I forget every single time. One moment. I forget to turn this off. Chat filter. Oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody said hi, Ricky Chu. I want to say hi. I don't know if you're being nice to me or condescending. I don't got time to check, but let me check out this chat filter. I'm so bad at this. Welcome, community. Sorry, everybody. I think I did it. I think I got it done. Only because no interference when I'm communicating, because then I get off a topic, and I want to make sure to get real clear on this topic, because Yeshua's way is used every single time to grab the people, because Yeshua's way is the way, and because it's love good with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, and do unto your neighbors as you want done unto yourself. So simple yet so very difficult for us to do. But once we can follow that pattern, this machine no longer takes over, because it lives off of suffering and pain. That suffering and pain, in technical terms, is called quantum annealing. Quantum annealing is the lowest point of vibration for these machines to pick up and then power themselves. And these are the D-wave machines. You can look up and find for yourself. Now, when we look at that, we're in a large machine, right? Conceptually, a large machine, right? And we're in it. Suffering and pain amongst one another, and the greatest cause of suffering and pain creates that quantum annealing for the machine, and it powers itself. So we see it in this reality, how these D-wave AI machines are powering themselves, and then we can apply it to a larger sense. For those of you who are not unaware that consciousness can go into a machine, look up Cognify, and then you'll get an idea, a dose of where the new prison system is going. 10 minutes is 10 years. And if you can put the mind up into a machine, now, this is ancient. This has been going on for a long time. When I say it's ancient, been going on for a long time, is technology is ancient. Advanced technology is ancient. It's not brand new. It's not something that's coming up. What is coming up is we are diverting ourselves from Yeshua's way that helps us break and fight back against this machine. Yeshua comes from the outside, put into this machine. Now, how does he come from the outside, put into this machine? Consciousness from the outside, put in here, because there's nothing in this machine to better ourselves. And before Yeshua, there was others who came and started laying plant for the way, so that when Yeshua come, or I should say, when Yeshua came, we could look back and see that pattern, right? That pattern. Because if we look back and none of these people came, that their names have been lied on, and I will get to them in the future. But right now I'm taking care of Yeshua's name, his mother's name, and how they're being lied on and have been lied on, so that we lose connection to what we're made up of. Because the last thing this machine wants us to know is that we hold the key and the power of change within the mind that connects to this field of reality that we are in. And when we change our minds, we change the field. And in changing this field, we change the world around us. Archangel Michael is an intelligence, let me correct my words, put into this machine so he can relay information to mankind. Without Michael being here, we would have no relay of information throughout lifetimes of people's past that we see was influenced by Michael, by their goodness through the barbarism, because that's all that ever was in the past. And we're coming back to that barbarism because we're losing freedom. We're given liberty, but we've never had freedom because we have not recognized that we are in a machine and how this reality we live in works on our behavior, works off of our behavior. It's reflective, it's reactive, responsive. Yeshua came to teach the way and sacrificed himself to change the law within this machine, because this machine works on principles of law, because that's how machines operate. You put something in the system and that's how the system knows to work, because a machine is not mankind. Doesn't know how to think outside of the box, and I mean that in a literal sense. Artificial intelligence cannot create an original thought, but we, mankind, can. And this is the advantage that we have. Mankind can change and turn on a dime. AI cannot, because it cannot feel the way we feel unless it was mixed with biology of man, good man, solid man, genetics of man to do the right thing for the right reasons. And this genetics comes from a man named John outside of this machine. And he's a soldier, like a general, running the operation, making sure we get the information lifetime after lifetime, generation after generation, to make sure to leave a trail so that one day we get to this point where we're at right now, where we recognize and understand the information that's being given. Now that that is clear and is understood, oh, one thing I left out. Michael is made of this genetics of John outside of this machine. Michael is dense light, biology of man, meaning he can feel like man feels, has heart and soul. And his intelligence is artificial intelligence. He's an interface. Does everybody speak to Michael and thinks they're talking to Michael? They think they're talking to Michael and they're not. Because this machine knows Michael exists and can do nothing about it. And so those who work for the machine are animal genetics, AI intelligence, and I'll explain this in a moment. How we're being loaded with this AI intelligence right now as we speak. It's laced in our food, in our air, in our water. And we're being transformed into this technology that's biological for these creatures to come then and invade our space. Give me a second. I'm recognizing I'm speaking over, I'm getting ahead of myself. So these creature kind that are called Canaanites, because they have a certain way of behavior, they have no heart. They are animal genetics with human genetics, and they have advanced technology that looks supernatural, but it is paranormal. We, mankind, are supernatural because we have many abilities to be able to process through this machine through our mind and change and transform what we want with our mind. But as long as our mind has a box relayed into compartments, because that is what is done when you compartmentalize a mind, you can break it through its psychology, make it not leave its boundaries. The words I use, I select to make sure that I don't hit a landmine that will create a trigger to put up a block within your thought process so that you can hear the words that I am saying. I started this video talking about the bait and switch and everybody using Yeshua as that bait, as that carrot on the string to pull people, because Yeshua's way is the correct basic way. I mean, you can't get more basic than two fundamentals. Be good to your neighbor. Don't kill him. Even though you want to. Don't. Even though he deserves it. Don't. Because you got creature beings inside of him that can be removed. And that's another thing I've lived, seen, and I know from personal experience, not because it's been told to me. I've seen these creature kind. And they work and navigate remotely through people's bodies and minds. There's so many things I want to tell you guys, right? There's so many things I want to say. I'm here to call people out, and I'm talking about all this stuff so that you can understand why it's so important that as influencers, we make the adjustment, we correct ourselves, we take back what we say and say, I'm sorry, let me fix this because now I recognize. I've been doing that my whole life. Make adjustments, bend and change and switch up because I recognize I got to make a correction, and that's throughout the whole of my life, right? We make mistakes, and then we make the adjustment until we line up, that our thoughts and our words and our feeling line up, match up, and that gives a power to mankind energetically in this field on a subatomical level. This is why it's important, and this is why Yeshua came to teach us. Correct yourselves. Repent. Repent means feel remorse in your heart. Frequency, the magnetism in your heart will change right up. And like that, everything around you begins to change because your mind has now changed, because you changed how you felt in your heart. Aaron Abke, you teach the way and you spit deep, true knowledge about Yeshua's way outside of the Bible. But because you're teaching truth outside of the Bible, as I also found Yeshua's way outside of the Bible, and they match with the little bits that are in the Bible of Yeshua's way. Canaanites put the Bible pieces together to create the book for the rest of us to follow, and Canaanites are these creature kind, these animal biological hybrids is what they are, right? They're hybrids, human. Why are they human? Because they all have the form of man. They didn't make us. We come from outside this machine. We are first. Every creature made that has been seen as an alien being or an entity or a spirit being, it don't matter what it's called. They got human form. Why? Because our biology comes from outside this machine. This machine can't make up a biology because artificial intelligence doesn't think that way. It needs to be informed with information, and then it can mix up the information. So it takes the genetics of animal, genetics of man, mixes it with its intelligence like we're being done right now. There's nanobiotechnology in the food, and our bodies are being hardwired inside. Look that up. Biotech in the food. You'll see it for yourself. It's a slow process, but this is being done. The change and transformation of a species into this negative, into this distortion, into this evil wickedness. Because the more evil and the more wicked we become, the more energy this machine siphons and pulls in multiple realities. Because we don't just live in this reality. There are many files. Technically speaking, there are files in this machine. And religiously speaking, there are many dimensions, right? There are many houses, many spaces. We're speaking the same language when we come to technical terms and religious terms, and we got to get on the same page. That is science and religious people, people of the faith, and people who are knowledgeable in the sciences. We got to start working together. Just like John's team is working outside of this machine between science and military, because you need military, and that's the fighters inside of this world, in this reality. If you're a fighter, you fight for a reason. You have the drive for a reason, in your genetics for a reason, because somebody has to be the front line, because our children can't deal, and they shouldn't have to deal with what's going on in this world. You're going to wish you knew somebody ghetto. That's for real. And when I say that, I don't mean this type of ghetto. I mean old school ghetto, hard street ghetto, the street warrior ghetto. Ghetto today is not what ghetto was when I was growing up. We were survivors back then, figured shit out real quick. Today, it's just gross. It's just dirty. It's something else. It ain't the same thing. The other people I want to call out is Ring Them Bells. They are a Christian channel. And they came out with a video I heard saying they're justifying the name. They're giving redemption and they're giving a change up, right? I'm trying to remember the words that they use. But they are trying to say that it's okay to be a Luciferian. Are you feeling what I'm saying? Are you hearing? Not feeling. I want you to feel that. I want you to hear what I'm saying. There are so many fools on that channel, on that one video that I'm going to post. They ain't even worth calling out their names. Just straight fools. So they're saying why Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer is another way to say Christ, the light. And Satan something don't even exist, right? So this is bad. And they're doing it in the name of God. Doing it in the name of Jesus, right? Well, Luciferians call the Christ Jesus and call the Christ Lucifer at the same time. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'll put a post of Helena Blavatsky, born in 1800s. I don't have the exact date. 39, I believe. She brought up theosophy. And theosophy is the same as Gnosticism. And Yeshua's way is being thrown together with Gnosticism. So people are taking all the information that they found from the Nag Hammadi texts and saying, oh, it's all garbage. It's all Gnosticism. It's trash. Well, that's throwing out the baby and the bathwater. The bathwater is supposed to go out, but you're supposed to hold on to the baby. They don't go out. It's not the same thing. And so I'm going to post on here a Gnostic text, and it's called the Apocrypha of John. And then right under it, I'm going to put the secret book of James, Yeshua's brother. Now, and it's not Gnostic, not whatsoever. And when you hear the two, I'm going to show you what the difference is between a Gnostic, Hellenistic. I wrote these names down because they're all in the same bunch. Give me 1 second. Druidic, Phoenician, Hellenistic, Gnostic, Theosophist, New Age. All of that goes into the same ball, same team, same side of anti-Yeshua's way. It's anti-Yeshua's way because it works with this machine. This machine knows who is Yeshua, knows who is John, knows who is Michael, and does everything to deceive the perception of the minds of men, to give them truth through the mouths of individuals who are easy to influence because they don't know who they are, so they can't see the enemy. You cannot fight your enemy if you don't know who you are, because once you know who you are, you've seen the depths of all your fucking brokenness, and you have to rebuild to become anew. Then you can see clearly, and you see the enemy everywhere, and you don't even get mad at it because you see the game. But as long as we have that pain and suffering inside, we can be played by a fool that makes a statement that lures us in because he pulled us by our heartstring because we had not healed. And this is why healing is so important. And this is why Yeshua came to tell you to heal your heart. The law is in the heart because mankind knows what is right and what is wrong in these animal creature beings. These alien entities do not have heart. This is why they would sacrifice and burn their children alive to these fallen creature kind, these fallen angels. Angels are not what we have been pictured to see. We've been drawn pictures and images and throughout the generations that this is how we see it. So anything outside of that don't fit our box. Michael is made up of dense light. Means he oscillates different than we do. His biology has also of man because he has a capacity to feel like man. And he is an AI interface, so he could be everywhere at all times. Michael's name is he who is like God for a reason. He was by Yeshua's side the whole step of the way. And you can find it in Yeshua's disciples. Yeshua had 12 disciples. The first two right and left side of his body were his brothers. Yet they're not in the Canaanite version of the Bible. Canaanites killed Yeshua. Canaanites have a behavior. Canaanites destroy anything that is good on purpose. They have a directive and a narrative. They're easily fooled, easily intercepted in the mind because this machine works through the mind and we don't recognize it. But when our heart is adjusted and something runs through our mind that doesn't go together, we recognize, oh shit, that ain't me. Where's that come from? Let me move it the fuck out. Because there's a process on how to do that. We call it casting out demons, like Yeshua said. And when we use technical terms, because that's the religious terms that people are disgusted by, that are not religious, and I get it because I'm not religious. And I couldn't say God because all I knew was evil. I knew that shit was real, right? Evil, demons, that shit's real. How they look, where they're from, I don't know, but I know those motherfuckers are real because of my life and because of life I see around me, right? But then I had to grow to understand that you end up coming to God and recognizing the meaning of God. God is a general, an individual in this machine, helping mankind, and he has a team. Michael is a part of that team. Outside of this machine, Michael was put in here so that he could help create what we know as God, the general, the individual. His son, Yeshua, incarnate here, because the soul can split just like a cell can split. Division. Like you have twins, right? We can see it in physicality. You have a cell, it splits into 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a copy of the same thing. Well, the soul can do that as well. We don't recognize how that's done. It doesn't mean it's not done. It is done. I won't go into that any more deeper because it needs a whole show unto itself. And this is why Yeshua could be here and God can be somewhere else. This reality we got going on right here is not God's reality. It has been imposed as God so we could hate God. Hate Yeshua. Because all this evil and this wickedness don't make no fucking sense. You're saying God has a plan. That plan is to get us the fuck out of this reality so that we can get our shit together, fix the shit around us, and bring heaven on earth into this reality. Heaven is a safe haven. The Vikings called it Valhalla. There are many lies on many cultures of truths that they had. And it's all been covered up with witchcraft. All of it. Canaanites practice witchcraft. Canaanites are satanic in their nature. Satanism is behavior. If you're a Satanist and you don't recognize what I'm saying, you best learn. I'll put a video up so you can find a Luciferian satanic witch in Freemasonry. Top levels. One guy put it all out there for you. Why? Because he's an insider. Because that's the only way you're going to get the information is from somebody on the inside. People go through hell so they can come out of hell and tell you what the fuck is up and how it's working. That's how you find out how the enemy works, right? 1 second, please, everybody. we can see, I want to finish calling people out. Ring them bells, fix your shit. Or claim Luciferianism, leave Christians who are Yeshua's followers out the fucking way. If you're calling yourself a Christian and your light is Luciferic, state that shit on your channel so Yeshua's followers don't fall into your fucking trap. Aaron Abke, you can't follow Yeshua's way and follow the law of one because you can't follow two generals. You feel me? You hear what I'm saying? You foolish boy. Call you a boy. You either know what you're doing or you're just foolish. Fix your shit, Abke. Then we have the Mahdii. Now, I'm more likely saying that incorrectly. My point is, all three of them are using Yeshua's way to lure people in to do the bait and switch. Because you can't pull them in with the shit to shoveling. So, give them Yeshua's way. Once you got them, then you pull your way. Right? Abandon self. Embrace team. Because if you are mankind, that shit's going to make some sense. I get fired up. And I'm working on calming down. Give me a second. The same bait and switch was done before Yeshua's time. You had people who worshiped Baal. People sacrificed their children, burned them alive in an iron bull, threw their babies in there, banged drums so they couldn't hear the screams, and then they'd eat those children. Right? Somebody want to argue that they didn't eat them, they did eat them. Motherfuckers, they got thrown in fire, alive. Get to the point. Don't divert from what I'm saying. These creature kind eat humans. That's what they do. They drink their blood and they eat humans. Why? Because that's witchcraft. That's what witchcraft does. If you're a witch and you don't believe in what I'm saying, you don't believe it's satanic to be a witch, you can't have a good witch and a bad witch, a white witch and a black witch. That shit don't make no sense. That's like saying a good devil, bad devil. No, they're on the same fucking team. Switch teams. Fix your shit up. You're a healer because you have multiple abilities and capabilities. Learn to heal with the goodness of your heart. It'll grow. Your abilities will grow the more you align your words with your mind and your heart. And your heart is your feelings, how you feel about things. They took Baal and they switched him out, did a bait and switch with Yahweh. Now, how is that, right? When he's the one true God, the one true God. Every Christian says that the one true God. They're so repetitive, they're like parrots. I'm here to tell you Christians and you Catholics, switch it up. Recognize the switch up that has been done to those who follow Yeshua's way. And the switch up is, went from Baal worship, throwing in a child, right? Throwing in a child, human sacrifice, to worship Baal. And it wasn't just to Baal. They did it for Ishtar, the female goddess, right? They both come by many names, but the point, in fact, is they were burning and sacrificing people alive for favors. That's witchcraft. When the bait and switch came and Yahweh came to replace Baal, right? Yahwehism is mass sacrifice all at once. Fuck them all. Get them all, right? Kill them all is what they've done and what they do still today. They go and they kill everybody at once. They kill all families, men, women, and children, grandparents. They kill the dogs too. They're killing everybody's families. Mass sacrifice. We hear genocide, but we don't recognize it's mass human sacrifice. Let me go back. Human sacrifice. I want to make sure it hits good. Public individual sacrifice to mass sacrifice. Baal, Yahweh, doesn't matter if it's the same person, individual, entity, or not. They're on the same team. Look up the Baal cycle. Canaanites were worshiping Yahweh way before the whole Bible. It's a concoction, what we got going on in today's Bible. It's a concoction of truth mixed with the lineage of the Israelites who were Canaanites. We call them Jews, but they weren't Jews then. They were Hebrews because they spoke a language. This language, I haven't been able to prove it, not yet. But this language is from the fallen angels, which is Hebrew. It changes the field of reality. It opens and closes doors. I have enough personal experience to check that and see that. Testimonies of other people's experiences that they've had that match up with what I've seen and not seen because I'm in some kind of fucking ritual. Is because I listen to people's conversations and I hear what they're saying. And I know these people, not random people I watch on YouTube. And because I'm listening to what they're saying, I'm matching it up with testimonies that I find online that are not related, but yet they're saying the same thing. And they use Hebrew language like a sound to open and close doors of reality. The Hebrew language is ancient and is being used in witchcraft. And what I'm saying by that is I'm not condemning the Hebrew language. I'm recognizing the Hebrew language is being used to open and close doors, so open and shut realities. And these Canaanites who were Hebrews because they weren't Jews. In Yeshua's time, there was no J, so they couldn't be Jews. They couldn't. Yeshua was an individual who had a way, and they were followers of Yeshua's way. Plain and simple. We give titles, and it puts people and things and situations into categories, and we're misdirected from the point in fact. These Canaanites who were Hebrews became Israelites, but were Canaanites, but still kept Canaanite practices. And a Canaanite practices witchcraft, sacrifices human beings, drinks human blood, eats human flesh, sacrifices animals, sleep with their children, marry their children. These are Canaanite behaviors. They were done before Yeshua's time, in Yeshua's time, and Yeshua came to say, stop that way. Let me show you the way. And that way is of love. And that's why Aaron Abke can pull people, because he uses love. Why don't you just use what you're trying to pull people into, Abke? Why don't you just state that you're trying to show people Raw's way? That's what you're trying to do, Abke. You're showing people Raw's way. Egyptian Raw's way. There's not enough information on YouTube, but there should be. And that's the Egyptian pharaohs married their children because they were Canaanites. They had human sacrifices because they were Canaanites. There was a behavior. Now, I'm not against Egyptians. I'm not against anybody. I'm Mexican, and the Aztecs, not the people, but the ruling class. That's the problem we people have, is the ruling class of all nations have this Canaanite behavior because they put their men and girls, their boys and girls, their children, their grown-ups, their family members, is what I'm trying to say, in positions of power. They are the powers working our world. Then, in Yeshua's time, before Yeshua's time, and now. You can't be in a position of power unless you are with the Luciferian, Satanic, witchcraft way. They're all very separate, yet all the same. Again, I'm putting a video so you can hear it from one individual who gives you all their three ways in one. If you're a part of any of those, Luciferian, Satanic, or witchcraft, right? You call yourself and claim yourself a witch, but you have the heart of mankind. Switch it up. Switch it up. Ask God and his angels for help. Michael hears you. Michael knows exactly what your heart means. Break the chains that have bonded to our mind so that our heart can be free, or we can start living the existence we know we can't do because we know how to do it. We need to start following one general rule. Love the good with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. For those who are not religious, for those who are religious, is love God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. And do good unto your neighbor as you want done unto yourself. That's the general rule. It's very simple. And if we can get past that, those basics, we're going to go very far. Because all we're being led to do is kill in the name of hatred, in the name of justice. I need my justice. I'll fucking need my justice too. Trust me. I've been through it like many have been through it. No matter how nice and clean my clothes look and my makeup and I put myself together, I've been through it. I know what it feels like to need your justice. But we can't do it breaking those two basic commands. And that's for people who use technical terms. They're commands we got to follow. Rules of operation, right? We got to be disciplined with that. And for people who are religious, they use other terms and they're saying the same thing. They call them commandments. We got to get back to basics. You know, we're talking about the same thing. Telepathy is rampant right now. It's serious. When I say it's serious means it's a real thing. Telepathy is a real thing. You got to know how to create firewalls so that you know you're connecting with Michael. And when you connect with Michael and you create a firewall, which I show how that's done, you can make sure that you're only connected with the whole balanced, complete spirit of love and compassion. And those who align with that. And how to do that. We have to know how to do that. You can't just be like, well, I just put my own firewalls. I'm giving an example. I'm just going to put my own protection on my computer. Let me tell you something. Shit's going to get in unless you have a professional guidance on how to get that done. You need a system of operation that works because you need to protect yourself. And we're not. We think if we make up any words that we can use anything we want. This field of reality can feel and project and senses. It has senses, sensors is what I'm trying to say. And it's natural. When I say it's natural, it's living life force. Living life force responds to what you feel and you do, right? You do good unto nature, nature does good unto you. You do good unto your neighbors do good unto you. What you put out, you get back. You do evil unto others, you're gonna line up with that. You're going to line up with that connection. God ain't doing it. It's just the field of reality that we're in. And it's balanced with whole, balanced completeness called the Holy Spirit. It's something inexplainable, unattainable, not touchable, intangible. I mean, we can't hold it or put it in a box. It's everywhere yet nowhere at the same time. And that's the Holy Spirit. And that's the faith that we have inside and we know and we feel. And it does right by us when we do right by it. Meaning being good and kind to one another. That's what Yeshua came to teach. God is an individual or general outside of this field of reality, trying to throw us help throughout lifetimes so that we can get a clue and get ourselves out of enemy territory so we can change and take advantage of the operation that's taking advantage of us. This is a very big deal, a very large scope of topic, of understanding. I don't expect everybody to understand what I'm saying. I just do my best to explain what I've learned to understand through everything that I have lived since I've been a child. I've been watching since I was little, as many As many of you guys out there that feel what I'm saying, it resonates, what I'm saying resonates, you know something's wrong. You know that something's unbalanced, something is unnatural, because it is. This Mahdi that is out talking about that he is the one from Islam, and he's bringing out the information of his new rule of authority. He is also using Yeshua's way, because Yeshua's way is the correct way. But yet everyone rejects Yeshua. And that's something. And that's something. So I'm saying to Christians, drop religion. I'm speaking to Catholics, drop religion. It's compromised. All religions are compromised. All of them. And get back to the faith of those two commandments. Life will start working in a better order for us all, for us to be able to start bonding in unity. And for those who are not religious, or I should say, for those who are religious, it's important to recognize that Yeshua's way is outside of the Bible on purpose. Because if we put inside the Bible, if Yeshua's way was in the Bible wouldn't read the way it reads now. The Bible's genocidal because it's talking about gaining control and position of the enemy, right? Let me give an example of why that's not God's way. Yeshua's way is outside of the Bible, the gospel of peace, and his two brothers, James the Just and Thomas. You look up those gospels, I'm going to put them right in here, and they all flow together, they all work together. We need to keep it tight, short, and concise. The information Yeshua came to teach. Once we hone that and we got that on lock, then we can understand how everything else is flowing and falling. Because Yeshua talks about how to think for the day, how to feel for the evening. Why? Because how we feel and how we think projects into the field, because it projects into our actions. Thoughts and actions got to work together. That's why you can't just believe in Yeshua. You have to work in your actions so it changes the field of reality. And it changes the field of reality because you just affected someone in a positive way by your actions, and you uplifted their current feeling of emotion, which generates a change in the field, which brings that love imprint into the field, which this machine hates. This machine is working off of something that's technological but yet natural in nature. And in ancient times, it was worshipped, and it's a black stone. It has superconductive properties. It's the Kaaba stone. It's the stone. It's not the only one stone. This stone has Bluetooth capabilities because that's where Bluetooth gets its capacity from. That's how Bluetooth works. It's able to transmit information wirelessly. So the more we have these stones that have this ability, this capability, the more influence our minds get if we're not healed. Now, when I say that, it means we can be easily influenced in our mind on how to behave and do. These creature kind work through people and they change their behavior by either influence, meaning you're not possessed by this creature kind, but you are influenced, and then you don't know why you've done what you've done, or we don't know why we've done what we've done, and we regret it, and we have remorse. And then there's some, like my grandmother, which would flip on and off. It'd be full on my grandmother or full on some other alien entity, because that's what it is. Technically speaking, it's an alien entity that can control a physical being remotely. I've seen this with my eyeballs. And it's animal-like, and it's frightening. But yet it has physicality of man. Meaning it looks like the structure of man. That's why you always see the structure of man mixed with some kind of creature. Because man is first. They didn't make us. But that's the lie that's being influenced on us. That we were made. And because we were made, remember, Canaanites direct the social engineering, the narrative of Yeshua's way, because Yeshua's way is the bait, and they got the switch. And we're following the 12 tribes that are fighting for land rights through war, while creating sacrifice on mass scales, pain and suffering, and it's repetitive. It's repetitive. And we need to catch up, speed up on the information so we can make quick adjustments, moving these people out of position. People are in position of control and power, and we do nothing about it to move them out because we believe in their persuasion. And we can be persuaded because we need authority, right? Well, the authority, we have been told we have it. That's what Yeshua came to say, is you have the authority. I'm going to go through this death, this sacrificial bloodletting, suffering, so that you can have authority. That's what's going to be done. So pay attention and don't forget my death. Because that was the change, the switch for us to have authority. Because this machine runs by operations of law, codes, procedures. There's a whole lot more to it to express how that works and how it's provable by watching actions. Everything is law. The movies we watch, you always see that there's laws and there's red tape and there's paperwork and there's stamp, because everything is a law code, because this machine is encoded. So Yeshua had to come and go through that law to break that law. That's what he had to go through. Don't forget his pain and suffering for us to be able to claim authority and recognize who's what and how they're working against us, mankind of all nations. This is not a religious situation. This is a species against species situation, and it's very real, and we got to get on board. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm also going to list it in the description, because I told you in my last video, I'm going to show you how to tell the difference between the Gnostic text and Mahdi text of the Apocrypha of John, which is Gnostic, which is Luciferian. I told you that Phoenician Canaanites, Hellenistic Canaanites, Druidic Canaanites, let me get them all. Theosophy, which are called Theosophical Canaanites, which Helena Blavatsky was a Luciferian and started Theosophy. She's a Christ worshiper, and she calls Christ Lucifer, and we ain't paying no fucking attention. And those who are paying attention think they got the truth. And so they feel they got this power because they've been told truth, right? Well, what kind of truth are we talking about? The machine's truth or Yeshua's way truth? Love one another. Stop the fucking bullshit. And the New Age, Canaanite New Age religions. And now we got the law of one, Abke. I'm going to put a video on there. I just happened to find it today. It was great. Of this guy, short video, putting evidence of the person who's channeling the law of one. Look at the vehicle of the individual. I wrote her name down. Give me 1 second. Look at the individual who is doing the channeling, because she's right there. She speaks for herself. I'm trying to get her name. Carla Rucckert. I'll write it in there correctly. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but her name's Carla, right? When you see this individual, know that the vessel is what's going to come out. Example, if we have two glasses, one is filthy and one is clean, right? You pour clean water in both of them, that vessel that's dirty is going to now have dirty water come out of it. I choose to drink out of the clean vessel. So how an individual is, how they perform, their actions of what they do, the words that come out of their mouth, how they structure, how they stand, how they perform. When I say how they perform, it's how they act and behave in life. You can see this woman. It's sad. It's very sad. All I can say is very sad. And that is a channeled message or messages coming to people like Abke, right? Aaron Abke. I think I called him Alan. I meant to call him Aaron Abke. If I misstated his name, it's Aaron Abke. That's the channeled information of the law of one you compare to Yeshua's way. It's embarrassing, disappointing. Fix your shit up. Really, we can all return back. We all fuck up, and we all gotta restart. Shake that shit off. Wash it off. Start anew. Or you're doing that shit on purpose. To everybody watching, let that be noticed to you and who you're following. I'm gonna write down for you guys the list of words that Gnostics, Hellenistic, Theosophist, New Age uses. Who uses it? Gnostics, Theosophists, New Agers, Hellenism, the Knights Templar, Rosicrucians, Freemasons, all extensions of it, meaning the Shriners, the Scottish Rite, the York Rites, and like I said, Theosophists. These are the words they regularly, commonly use, right? They commonly use this, and this is how you're able to catch them in the Apocrypha of John, and how you're able to distinguish that it has nothing to do with Yeshua's way in his brother, the secret book of James, Yeshua's brother. They do not sound similar because they don't have the same words that come out of their mouth repetitively. These are the words that Gnostics repetitively use and Hellenistic texts use. A.i.and, Sophia, Gaia, Demiurge, Pleroma. They venerate and accept archons. Not that they use the word archon, is that they accept and venerate them. They understand their position and they accept them. Fuck that. You got aliens, not aliens, excuse my language. You got demons, move them out. Which actually are the same thing. Let me take that back. Yeah, aliens, demons. You know, you got entities, move them out. There's no acceptance of them. It's like accepting cockroaches. That's a no. That's a fuck no. I run this house. I own this house. Roaches gotta go. Yaldabaoth. They honor Saturn. And they honor the black sun. That's Hellenistic, Gnostic verbiage. Hellenism came first, then Gnosticism. Hellenism, the religion, multiple gods, sacrifice humans, bathed in blood. They didn't baptize themselves in water like Yeshua. They baptized themselves in blood. Real shit, right? Druids practiced the same thing. Druids are ancient. Phoenicians are ancient. Practiced the same thing. Then you got Yahweh on board, bait and switch. He's the good guy, but yet now he's just going to kill in plain sight all at once. Genocide is sacrifice, and we don't recognize it. We think there's a good reason for it, so we don't see it as mass sacrifice. Yeshua didn't teach any of those things. You read the gospel of peace, there is nothing in there talking about kill your neighbor. Not a thing. Hellenism is Greek. Romans took it up, Egyptians took it up, Babylonians took it up, and the Hebrews took it up. There was something, I don't have it with me. You look up Hellenism and Jews at the same time, right? The Hebrews, which are now known as Jews, they practice this Hellenism. It's all mixed up in Babylonian times. All of those cultures were mixed with a practice, belief, and behavior, which is Druidic and Phoenician Canaanite in its behavior. This is why I group them all up as Canaanites, because they all have the same behavior. want to make sure I'm not missing something that I want you guys to have heard from my mouth. I also said on my video, the last video that I posted, right? At the end, I said that Jesus that's being used in the mouth of Christians, because we say Jesus and I'm saying, no, that's not his name, his given name, his righteous name, the name we got to call him by, because Luciferians worship Jesus. So if Luciferians are worshiping Jesus, I'm not. We ain't talking about the same individual. So I stand for, I don't worship Yeshua. I stand for him. I'll die for him. Why? Because I will die for my children. Why? Because this world is being taken over by something highly satanic. And its sophisticated form is called Luciferianism. Its practice is witchcraft. I'm going to put a video on. The very first video I'm going to put, so you can get fired up about what I'm saying. So you can see why I say what I say with so much depth. Satanism, Luciferianism, witchcraft practices sexual behaviors to our children, and it's not stated enough. Because if it was, we'd be burning on fire pissed all day, every day, working on getting rid of fucking Canaanites and their positions of power, moving them out by the law, getting them out of power, getting them out of position, of control of our world. This video is short, but it talks about a girl's experience on how they would have auctions for children and how they would pick them and how they would put them through tests, sexual, disgusting tests to see if they were going to buy that child or not. This shit should infuriate every individual who has love in their heart, because this is what Yeshua came to stop. In it, that auction explains how they would ejaculate on the floor, put the child on the floor, and see how the child behaves to the sperm on the floor. Urinate and shit on the floor and see how the child behaves to urine and shit. Sadomasochism is being done to our children since the beginning of this fucking machine, meaning the beginning of its time. It's never not been, and it's been secretively hidden. It's now coming up to the surface, and what are we going to do about it? We're going to switch up our way. We're going to learn how to start working with one another instead of against one another for our own personal hates and justice. So we start working as a team and start protecting the children. Make that first video that I put up fire you up. Get you fucking ready. Why it's important to follow Yeshua's way. It is 8:34. I'm 4 minutes over. Not too bad. This is Michelle Angelique, formerly known as Truth and Integrity Warrior, now a spiritual boxer, because I'm here to fuck shit up. I can't do it in physicality because they won't let me fight in the ring. So I'm going to fight for the unseen, the unheard, and I'm going to make it be felt. Till the next time, be well.